I think I join everybody in saying Lonnie Shelton probably maybe was the best all-around athlete ever to come out of the Valley. That's not my opinion. That's the Fresno Bee editor, Terry Betterton, wrote his last column after 34 years, and they asked him to name the best high school athlete he ever saw, and he named Lonnie Shelton. I know Lonnie was a three-sport athlete at Foothill High School, and people remember him in basketball because he became a professional basketball player. He had an outstanding career at Oregon State, but he became a professional basketball player. I think he played 11 years in the NBA, and he played with the Seattle Supersonics when they beat the Los Angeles Lakers and won the World Championship. He was on that team, started. He also was selected to play in the NBA All-Star game with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Moses Malone. He was on that team, started that game, and was guarding Larry Bird, as I recall. Had an outstanding game there. But you would think that a guy that was an NBA All-Star and everything, that would be his best sport. And actually, basketball, for some people said, was not his best sport. Might have been his worst sport. Some thought he could have been an Olympian in track and field. People do not realize this. He ran the 100-yard dash, anchor on the relay team. He was a long jumper. He was a triple jumper. But where he excelled was in the shot put and discus. He broke about every shot put record in Kern County when he was here. He also had the longest discus throw in the nation. And that was I think it was a little over 197 feet. And he was a state champion in track and field in the weight events. And that is amazing because most people don't know that. He went to Oregon State, and as a basketball player, his scholarship would not permit him to play another sport. But they talked him into 1 week. Please let us have Lonnie 1 week for a track meet. If we could score a couple of points in the shot put, we would win the meet. He went out without any practice, without any conditioning, without anything. And that was the only meet he was in that year. He put in one meet, took first place, and it was the second best shot put for distance in the entire conference that year. Second best with no practice or anything. He might have, he could have been an Olympian there. And other people do not realize he could maybe have been an Antonio Gates in football. He was amazing. We started him off, he was 6'8", 240 pounds playing tailback. It was almost like child abuse, when he hit people, with that kind of speed he had. But then we had another back, a sophomore named Gary Blackford, that was sitting on the bench. And I wasn't very smart, but I figured if we could get Lonnie on the field and Gary on the field at the same time, it would be better. And Lonnie did not object. He went to tight end, where he became a blocker. And then Gary Blackford, as a sophomore, went to tailback. This was after 3 games. And so while Gary didn't carry the ball much in 3 games, he ended up that year with 1,800 and some odd yards as a sophomore. He's back of the year in Kern County. And because Lonnie gave up his position to go to tight end. And Lonnie was a tremendous blocker. He had trouble with vision. He later got a contact lens that were causing his eyes some problems, but later on he got that cleared. But USC wanted him as a football player. They don't want very many players, but they wanted Lonnie. And Lonnie, I'll never forget, took a trip down there, and I knew he probably wasn't going to play at USC because when he came back, he met everybody down there, movie stars, all the very important people. And we asked what coach he met, and he said, I forget, he was an older white-haired fellow, was the head coach, John McKay. So I knew when he forgot him that he probably wasn't going to USC as a football coach, which I would have loved to have seen, but he had a great career. He passed away recently, and he was eulogized. I read articles in the Oregon State paper of his teammates at Oregon State, and they said he was the most phenomenal athlete they saw on the basketball court. He just did things that you could not believe, and if you watch film of him in the championship playoff games, the rebounding and how his toughness, he is really I think beyond a shadow of doubt, in my opinion, and we've had a lot of athletes play pro ball and play in the NBA and NFL and everything, but if I had to pick one as the very best athlete to ever come out of Foothill, it would have to be Lonnie Shelton, and I think that's a pretty unanimous opinion up and down the valley.